Once again, this week's Thailand headlines are absolute pandemonium. Everything from a wild animal attack that you probably didn't know you had to keep an eye out for while you were here. More terrible tourists are at it again with everything from assaults to thievery. Now, we have covered some wild stories here on this channel, but our last story today, I think takes the cake. It is most assuredly top 3, but I think this might be one of the wildest headlines we have ever read here on the channel, so make sure you stick it out. How's it going? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you are doing well. Yet again, I have rounded up this week's most unhinged headlines coming out of Thailand. We've got a little bit of everything, more terrible tourists, a crazy situation when in regards to our last story that it's, I can't say it's something that I haven't worried about, but I have definitely never taken it to this extent. I want to hear from you. Let me know down in the comments what you think about these stories, or as always, if there's a story we haven't covered that you think deserves to be on the list, let us know. Let's get it in the video. So first things first, coming to us from the Tiger, something that you probably didn't know you needed to even consider while you were in Thailand. The irony of reading this on the Tiger, I love that for some reason. Thai TikToker's lion attacks 2 victims, including an 11-year-old boy in Kanchanaburi. Public anger grows over influencers' reckless handling of protected species. Now, hopping into the article, a lion escaped from the home of a Thai TikToker and attacked 2 people, including an 11-year-old boy in the central province of Kanchanaburi on Saturday, October 4th. Viral footage captured the moment the young boy and mother fled from the lion named Mahesi. The incident occurred in a community in the Bo Ploy district of Kanchanaburi around 11 p.m. Locals rushed to the home of the lion's owner, a well-known TikTok user, 32-year-old Parinya Parkpum, and pleaded with him to restrain the animal. Parinya was seen running out of his house, but stopping at the fence, appearing confused and unsure of how to respond.
Gentlemen, welcome to Fight Club.
Now, you may remember we covered a story maybe about 2 months ago at this point where officials were, making note that this was something they needed to pay attention to. Already then, there were a lot of locals upset by the amount of these essentially just random people that have pet lions. Maybe about 6 months ago, there was another case here in Pattaya, I believe, where a guy was driving around in a convertible, had 2 pet lions, and understandably, people were worried that this could become an issue. Now, some positive news, the young boy and as well as the other victim that was attacked, trying to help him. Of course, understandably, they got some pretty gnarly injuries, but according to the article, they are both in stable condition. There's been a lot of arguments over whether people should be allowed to have these or not. We've talked about it before. I don't think anybody should be able to have big cats. How many stories have you read or how many videos have you seen of these people that have these pets and they end up mauling somebody? And, if it's one of those things where, the owner gets got, it's like, okay, well, that sucks, but what did you expect? But things like this, when they escape and hurt other people, I think that is absolutely ridiculous. So I do hope this guy gets held accountable. Do you think this is something that people should be allowed to have? Personally, I think people should just stick to dogs.
It puts the lotion on its skin.
Okay, now rolling into our next story, also coming to us from the Tiger. A few of you guys have mentioned that, wow, man, it just seems like all the news is terrible. It's nothing but crimes and all this bad stuff. And yes, I would agree. Unfortunately, with all headlines, not even just in Thailand, a lot of the time they tend to kind of lean negative. If it bleeds, it leads. But I did find a more positive one today. Peacekeeping team applauded after reuniting tourists with valuables. Pattaya officers returned a lost wallet to a tourist during a routine patrol, earning praise for their honesty in safeguarding visitors to the city. Upon inspection, the wallet was found to contain a foreign passport, 4.5 million Indonesian rupiah, and 100,000 denomination notes, as well as additional cash in Chinese yuan, Thai baht. The officers secured the wallet promptly and announced the fine in hopes of locating the owner. Well, it is pretty refreshing to get a bit of a feel-good story. I'm honestly not surprised by this at all, let alone because it was officials, but for the most part, the vast majority of people you meet in Thailand are very honest. I see stories or Facebook posts about stuff like this all the time. And it's one thing if it's an empty wallet, people are like, okay, here are your cards back and stuff. But I remember just a few months ago, there was another instance where a gas station worker worker found a wallet, and it was something insane. I think it was like 600,000 baht or something like that. It was a lot of money. Kid didn't take any of it, returned the wallet with all the money. These type of things happen all the time here. And even with me, one time when I was coming out of a 7-Eleven, I went to put something in my pocket or take out. I forget what it was, but I dropped my wallet on the ground right there. And there was 4 or 5 different people, Thai people right there that were like, hey, wallet. Told me that I had dropped it. And, you know, coming from America, if you drop your wallet somewhere, you're done, man. Like, they're not going to return it. I have some friends, they got theirs returned, but of course all the cash was gone. Oh, it didn't have any cash in it when I found it. Okay, sure. This is really good to hear, but of course, keep an eye on your stuff, guys. Come on now.
Don't do that.
And our next story, pretty much flip-flopping to the exact opposite of that. Police search for a man who stole a motorbike and damaged shops in Pattaya. Police are searching for a man believed to be under the influence of drogas after a series of incidents involving property damage and theft of a motorbike. The incident occurred earlier today, October 7th. A man approximately 30 years old was first seen riding a red Honda Wave 110 through the Pattaya district, where he allegedly damaged roadside shops. Witnesses described the erratic behavior and said he was shirtless while riding on the Asia Highway. Later, the same man arrived at Lana Waterslide Boxing Camp in Khao Chiek Mueng, Palatung. Boxer trainer told police he organized a birthday party event for a student and had left his black and green Honda motorcycle parked outside with the keys in the ignition. CCTV showed the suspect arriving on a red motorcycle, switching vehicles, and then leaving the area. Krai Tawa and his students attempted to locate the man and reported the incident to Mueng Patalung police station. Police recovered the red motorcycle nearby. A knife, tobacco, betel leaves, and pandan leaves were found under the seat and collected as evidence. I'm not sure what that is. If you guys know, let me know down in the comments. Authorities confirmed the suspect was the same individual involved in earlier reports in Papillon district. Officers later spotted him near the Patalung bus terminal intersection and attempted to make an arrest, but the suspect rode against traffic and evaded capture. Khaosod reported that police are continuing their investigation and say the suspect will face legal action once apprehended. So if you don't put yourself out there like that, something's just less likely to happen. Don't leave your stuff sitting around. Take your keys out of your bike. It's unfortunate that seems to be becoming more of a reality here, but you know, what can you do? From the way that this guy sounded like he was acting, I would not be surprised if he was under the influence. So if you're out riding around, driving, make sure you're paying attention. If you see somebody swerving all over the place, just get away from them, or you can call the police. Who are these people? All right, and now rolling into our next story, coming to us from the Tiger. American tourist knocked out in late night Pattaya clash. This is one of those ones where when you read it and you're like, I don't really know. I'm not saying that's a lie. I don't have any evidence to support that it's a lie, but I have seen lots of these types of interactions happen throughout my life, and rarely does it go like this guy is saying that it went, especially in Thailand. But hopping into the article here, an American tourist was assaulted by a motorcyclist while walking with family near a popular nightlife area in Pattaya. The attack took place on the evening of Wednesday, October 8th, while 50-year-old Quincy Nguyen Tran was walking back to his accommodation with family after doing so along South Pattaya Beach Road. As they passed Soi 16 near a Middle Eastern restaurant just off Walking Street, a Thai man riding a motorcycle reportedly swerved and struck Tran from behind. Hoping to document the incident for possible insurance claims, Tran began recording the confrontation on his phone and called for police assistance. However, the situation escalated rapidly. The motorcyclist allegedly slapped the phone out of his hand and then punched him in the face, knocking him to the ground and rendering him unconscious before speeding off on his bike. You know, for the most part, like, Thai people are very not confrontational. So, you know, just in my very anecdotal experience, I kind of have a hard time believing that this guy ran into him and then he just pulled out his phone, started recording, and then all of a sudden this Thai guy punched him in the face. Not saying it's impossible. There's some wild people out there, but I don't know. I feel like there was probably a little bit more escalation between, you know, pulling the phone out and what happened. Understandably, if this guy was upset that somebody ran into him with a motorcycle, that's one thing. It also doesn't say where this guy was walking. So it's much different if you're walking on the sidewalk, of course, and somebody runs into you on a motorcycle. Yeah, I would be pretty hot too. But also, if you're walking in the street, man, come on now, pay attention. I'm honestly surprised we don't see more articles like this talking about people getting hit, especially a certain demographic of visitors here love to just walk in the middle of the road. It is such a nightmare. But what do you guys think? Am I skeptical for no reason? To me, this sounds like something else probably happened in that little interim period there. Of course, I don't believe anybody. That's not true. I do believe some people deserve to get punched in the face, but if this is actually what happened, then yeah, I hope they find this guy. But just goes to show, man, there's bikes everywhere, dude. You always got to be on your toes in Thailand. Look back and forth multiple times. Don't assume if traffic is all going this way that there's not going to be somebody coming the other way. Or if you're on the sidewalk, don't assume that somebody's not going to come driving up behind you. And now, rolling into our most what the hell is going on story of the week. Thai man locks up peen with 2 rings over fear of genital theft. Claims of theft leave doctors questioning man's mental state. Yeah, you think? Hopping into the article here, a Thai man in the Isan province of Buriram sought help after he locked his peen with steel and plastic rings, claiming someone tried to steal his private part because of its size. Satuak Hospital on October 6 called rescue workers from the Wang Crude Foundation to assist the medical team in removing 2 rings from the man's private parts. The hospital's medical staff did not have the necessary cutting equipment for the unexpected task. Rescuers used a grinding machine carefully to cut through the rings to avoid injuring the man. The team successfully removed both rings within 10 minutes, though the condition of the organ did not appear to improve. This is brutal. Could you imagine an angle grinder having to be that close to your junk? Jeez. According to a report by Khalsad, the tip of the man's genitalia had swollen to the size of a fist. One of the rescue workers, 31-year-old Narang Sang Prasert, told the media he was stunned upon seeing the man's condition. Narang explained that one ring was made of plastic while the other was a stainless steel ring, originally part of a fishing rod. What shocked Narang and the medical team even more was the man's explanation for placing the rings on himself. The patient claimed that a community health volunteer had tried to steal it because of its unusually large size, which he said required an extra large condom size of 69 millimeters. Doctors suspected the patient might be suffering from a mental health condition or under the influence of intoxicating substances. They plan to conduct a psychological evaluation for the appropriate treatment, but the results were not disclosed. So obviously, in my very unprofessional opinion, it sounds like this guy does need some psychological help. Hopefully he gets that, but it just goes to show, guys, you know, it's really easy to be envious in life. It's really easy to say, you know, if I had this, I would be better off. And, you know, I think vast majority of guys, if they could, they would want a bigger one. And this just goes to show, you got to think about it, man. It's not all positive. You know, sometimes blessings are both a blessing and a curse. You know, what if you're going through life just slinging a lot of peen and you come across a guy who doesn't, and then you got to make sure somebody doesn't steal it. It just goes to show, guys, got to keep yourself honest, got to appreciate what you have and find a way to make it work. So yet another week of what is happening headlines. I'm starting to notice that is pretty much status normal for Thailand. If you did make it this far in the video and you enjoyed it, you know what to do at this point. If you would like to see more videos like this, those buttons are down there. If you do want to support the channel for absolutely free, a like and subscribe is the best way to do that. We've also got some affiliate links down in the description. There's some discount codes for you down there. It's a way you can support the channel monetarily without any extra cost to you, but it is about time for me to get some Thai barbecue. I appreciate you guys hanging out. I will see you in the next video. Doors that way.